Alright, so in this video we're going to be going over metrics that I use and what kind of metrics you can use to look for domains, whether it's an auction domain or expired domain. Now, a lot of people get caught up on just metrics. Remember, it's metrics are just metrics. So there can be a site that has really good metrics that isn't that good, which is why we always check the links for the site. And again, we'll get into this later. Please don't get all flustered because you don't know what I'm talking about yet. We'll cover this. Just watch these videos and it will all come together. So metrics are in place just to filter out domains that are below those metrics, okay? So the sites that pretty much have no chance of being, or have a very low chance of being a site that we want, okay? So that's kind of what we use metrics for. If a site has good metrics, it's just more likely to be a site we want to use. Just because it has good metrics doesn't mean it's a good site, all right? Which is why we always look at the links behind it, and we'll go into this. But I want to show you in this video the metrics that I set to look for my domain names, and then, the kind of the metrics I look at when I'm looking at domain names. So again, I'm going to show this in Register Compass, but remember this goes out to any tool you use. You can use the same metrics, look at the same stuff, it's just going to be laid out a little differently, okay? So in this example here, I'm going to be doing auction domains. So now expired domains, or deleted domains as some people call them, they're not always indexed, okay? I don't use deleted domains a ton. I use more auction domains, but deleted domains are fine to use. They're just usually not as powerful because the more powerful domains usually get picked up at auction. If they don't get picked up at auction, then they turn to an expired or deleted domain, which usually as high quality aren't there. Still fine to use. I recommend most people send them to Web 2.0 and social properties, if anything. But they can even still be used effectively for the money site, just a little bit more risk, okay? So just understand that. What I'm showing you here is kind of metrics more for auction domains, especially this one here. Is it indexed? I'm saying I want at least one page index. So this is more for auction domains, because again, expired deleted domains, most of them have no pages indexed because they're the site is deleted. All right, so just be aware of that. So this metric you wouldn't necessarily use for deleted domains. I mean, you could. There is some deleted domains that have pages still indexed, but just because it doesn't have any index pages doesn't mean it's not good to use. All right. Again, that may be a little confusing for some of you. You'll catch on in the later videos. That's just one metric. All right. Next thing that I usually do is I like domains that are at least a couple years old, so I'll usually do domains before, 2014. In this case, it's almost 2016 now. I could even do before 2015 now, so, anything 2014 and below, that's telling me. But that's not super important. The most important thing is the links going to it, so really you don't even have to use this one, okay? The next big one I use is domain authority, and I would set your minimum at a domain authority of 10. That's pretty low. I mean, sites can have a domain authority of 10 and be pretty, it can be decent, but if you can go above 14 or so, but not saying if it's below 14 it's bad, or below 15, but I would say at least above 10, all right? In this case, I would be filtering out any domains that are below 15. Another big thing you can use is trust flow, okay? So I would do trust flow of at least 10 or higher. So anything over 9 in this case, which would be 10 or higher, that's another big metric we look at is trust flow. Okay. So in this case, I'd be looking at namejet pre-release domains expiring in the next 5 days. This isn't really important. You can, if you're doing research every day, I would just change this to 1. If I do research every 5 days, I would change this to 5. Whatever you're doing, that's not super important. Then of course we went over this in the previous video. Namejet pre-release is one of the auction domains I go after, or one of the services I go after for domains. So then you just do find domains. Again, remember you can search the same thing on another platform. You just be looking. It would just look a little different. The process would work a little differently. Now here's all the auction domains that are available. Okay, so these are all the sites that are in the first stage. Someone didn't renew, moves to auction, first stage. This is the area where you can find the best domains, but you're usually going to spend a little more, okay? This one right here is the ones that went through auction, didn't get picked up, so now you can get them cheap. But again, most of the better domains get picked up here, so usually you don't find as high quality here, all right? So these are the expired deleted domains. These are the actually auction domains. This one expiring, honestly, I've never messed with. I'm not totally sure what that is. There could be some gold in there. Who knows? I just never looked into it. So I'm not quite sure what those are. I'm sure people will be wondering. I just never looked into it myself. If we have someone that watches the video and finds out, we'll put a note about it. All right. But I've never looked at these. I've looked at these and these. These are my main thing, and I do still use these. Okay. And these can be especially effective for linking to Web 2.0, Facebook stuff I'm talking about, or your social properties like Twitter and tumblers and all that type of stuff. Because they have such high domain authority, you can get away with a lot more with that. Okay. But for my money sites especially, I like using auction domains. Not saying you can't use expired domains, deleted domains for money sites, but I prefer auction domains when I'm linking to my money sites. And be aware that I recommend if you're a beginner, you link to your Web 2.0 and social type properties first. Build up that trust before you send any type of PBN to your money site. Just because you want to learn about footprints and all that first so you don't hurt yourself. This will be explained more in further videos. I'm just kind of taking this video further than it should be. So just be aware of that. This is kind of the metrics that I use and look at, all right? So if we bring up the auction domains here, there's 434 auction domains that meet my metrics expiring, that are done auction within the next 5 days, okay? So once you're here, I usually organize by two different things, either SEO Moz domain authority, okay, or Majestic Trust Flow. In this case, or you can actually do by age, because a lot of older domains are usually good domains. So you could do, domain age. But in this case, we'll do Majestic Trust Flow. That's been one of the ones I've been using the most lately. So we'll do highest to lowest. And again, remember, other tools do a little differently, but you can typically do the same things. Alright, and you'll see if we scroll over to Trust Flow again, it's arranged from highest to lowest. And you'll learn what trust flow is and all that. Just know it's a good metric to organize by, okay? It's a good metric to kind of filter by, I should say. If it has a higher Majestic Trust Flow, it's more likely to be a good site. Doesn't mean it is, it just means we're giving ourselves the best chance of finding sites that are good. Okay, if it meets our metrics, especially all of them together, then it's a better chance of it being a good site. All right. So that takes care of metrics. You'll learn more about metrics and all that later. I just wanted to kind of show you first what metrics I use to look for sites, which is mainly domain authority, trust flow, and then if we go back to our search, domain authority, trust flow, a little bit for domain age. Then if it's an auction domain, I make sure it's indexed. Those are the main things that I look at. All right. And again, we'll cover it going into these metrics in detail in later videos, but these are the basic filters that I use to find domains.